So this is the entrepreneur's journey. That's what this represents. So we start at the bottom at hobbyist, then you have professional, you have an expert, and then you have an influencer, and you have the monetary value that it creates on the side. So what a hobbyist does, a hobbyist is a person who has these particular gifts and talents. They have this particular skill set, but they're really just testing their market. They're testing the market to see if there's demand, to see if their messaging works, to do data analysis, to see what places they can find their audience. So that way, they don't waste their time with what they're doing, okay? The energy that you're putting out, you're testing it so that you know that that energy is going to have an effect on the audience that you want to reach. So in this phase, what you're trying to achieve is results. You want to get results for your clients, so that way you can have proof that what you're doing is good and it's positive and it's working and it's changing lives. That's your goal as a hobbyist starting out, okay? After you get your messaging and you're seeing that it's getting engagement, your engagement is growing and people are finding you and they're very interested in what you have, then you'll start pulling in money as a result of your messaging being exactly the type of messaging that your audience needs to see. You're speaking their language. You're using their vocabulary to describe, giving them a solution, right? So most people as a hobbyist, they start out not making anything yet because you're in testing phase, you're interviewing people, you're making discovery calls, finding out more information about them. There are people that do definitely make money as hobbyists. They can make up to, I would say up to $5,000 they might be making per month just testing offers, testing different types of messaging that pulls people into purchasing products. So in order for that to happen, you have to have products already. Those products have to already be lined up for your audience to buy. And you have to have some idea of how you're getting that
right now
to your audience.
I don't
right?
think you're open to
So, so it is possible to make money as a hobbyist. It's just not your first priority as a hobbyist. You're learning your market, learning your audience. So then once you learn those things, they're growing, your messages are growing, your content is good, it's bringing in that engagement and you're making sales. Now you're concentrating on building money, building your cash flow. That's where your sites will be at that point. And at that point, you're scaling your money. You want your money to reach at least $10,000 a month in that process while you're a professional, okay? So you continue to build your cash flow, continue to build the money that your products and services are bringing in. And now you've become an expert once you reach the between $10,000 to $30,000 a month range. As an expert, your goal is to scale. So your goal is to scale then. What is scaling? Scaling means now you're ready to bring a team on because now you have the capital to pay them. Your business is cash positive. So now you can actually start bringing people into your team, becoming more of a CEO in your business and less having to wear less hats. So as a hobbyist, you have all the hats. And as a professional, you have all the hats. You're doing marketing, you're doing outreach, you're testing, you're doing all these different things, and you're doing the thing that you love, which is your coaching or your teaching, right? So you're doing all of those things as hobbyists. As a professional, you're still doing all those things. You're just a lot better at it than you were as a hobbyist. So it's a lot easier. It's flowing, clients are flowing in, money is flowing in at a much easier rate. So then as an expert, now you're ready to design systems So that way you can pass your hats to other experts that you can afford to pay because you're cash positive, right? That's what scaling is. So in scaling is going to look like getting a virtual assistant. That's the first thing you would get, right? Virtual assistant is first because a lot of your menial tasks, scheduling, and all of your messaging is going to be predictable now. So because as an expert, all your messaging is predictable, they can just go into a document and your virtual assistant can send it out on calendar. And you can continue to get that engagement. So every now and then you're going to have new offers that are going to come up, and you'll give that to your virtual assistant to post. So you won't be doing all that. You'll just be concentrating on the writing of it, and you'll be concentrating on doing what you do best as an expert. You're teaching, you're coaching, okay? You'll also hire in, eventually you'll bring in a salesperson. You'll bring in someone who is a team member that does onboarding. So their expertise is when you have new clients come in, they'll meet that person first instead of meeting you first. And that person will get them all set up with all the things they need to do, right? So that's how your scaling is going to work. Once you get your scaling dialed in, you have this beautiful team of people, and now you can enjoy being a CEO in your business. That's when you work on branding. Branding means that's where now you're writing a book. Now you're thinking about speaking engagements. You have a big audience. You're making between $50,000 and $50,000 a month, up to upwards of 100K a year, might be $250,000 a year at that point. So now you can afford to create that big outstanding website, right? That showcases you and what it is that you do. You're able to then, like I said, write books, you're doing speaking engagements, you're getting all your photos done, your fancy photo shoots and things are being done at that point. You've got media attention, right? That's the stuff that you're working on here. And then from influencer, you become celebrity authority. Celebrity authorities, now you're doing more press releases, you're traveling to speak, you're doing a lot more things that don't require you to deal with the day-to-day in your business. The problem with entrepreneurship and the marketing and entrepreneurship is that it has you typically trying to start up here when you haven't tested your market. You don't know your audience yet. You don't know your products or services. You don't even really know what you love to do yet, but you're working on your book and you're working on media and you're working on all this other stuff that you don't have the capital month to month to continue to pay for. You know, they're also marketing all these products and services for you to buy, which would be easy for you to buy with this income or this income. But down here, where you're still in the testing phase, you shouldn't be buying Calendly, for example. You don't need to book clients in Calendly yet. You can book them on Google, you know? So that's part of the challenge.